The gentle hum of the luminous sky city was Elara's constant lullaby. It resonated through the crystalline platforms that floated like colossal, intricate snowflakes high above the gas giant, Eon. Below, the planet was a masterpiece of swirling ochre, amethyst, and cerulean clouds, a cosmic painting that shifted with the slow, grand currents of its atmosphere. Above, the inky canvas of space was dusted with 1,000,000 diamond-bright stars, each one a silent promise. Elara lay nestled in her sleep silk, a cocoon of soft adaptive fibers that molded to her form, monitoring her biorhythms and whispering calming frequencies directly into her mind. Most nights, the sleep silk would project a serene, pre-selected dreamscape, a field of bioluminescent flora on a distant exomoon, or the slow-motion dance of nebulae. But tonight, Elara had chosen to let her own mind wander. She preferred the raw, unfiltered experience of her own dreams, even if they were sometimes unusual. She was 8 cycles old, and her personal chronometer, a thin silver band on her wrist, glowed a soft green, indicating the luminocycle was nearing its midnight zenith. Soon, the city's light spires would dim further, leaving only the soft glow of the data lanes and the distant shimmer of power collectors, absorbing eons atmospheric energy. It was a time of quiet contemplation for many, and a time of vivid imagination for Elara. Her room was a small haven of wonder. One wall was an expansive viewport, currently showing a slow, majestic procession of Aeon's aurorae, ribbons of green and violet light dancing across the upper atmosphere. Another wall was a dynamic stellarium, a holographic projector that could map any known star system, replay cosmic events, or even simulate the birth of a galaxy. Tonight, it was set to a simple, familiar display, the constellations visible from Lumina tracing their ancient patterns across the simulated ceiling. Elara closed her eyes, letting the sleep silk's gentle thrum guide her. She drifted, not into a pre-programmed vision, but into a familiar landscape of her own making. It was always the same. She was floating, not in a ship or a suit, but simply waiting in an endless expanse of stardust. Tiny motes of light, like miniature suns, swirled around her, sometimes coalescing into shimmering clouds, sometimes scattering like startled fireflies. There was a melody too, faint and elusive, like the memory of a song heard long ago, carried on currents of solar wind. It spoke of vast distances, of ancient journeys, and sometimes of a quiet, profound sadness. But tonight, there was something new. A star, impossibly distant yet intensely bright, pulsed at the edge of her dream vision. It wasn't one of the familiar constellations. It was a lone star, almost shy, tucked away in a corner of the void. And as she watched it, she felt a peculiar thrum within her, a quiet echo of the star's pulse. It was a feeling of recognition, of connection, as if a thread of starlight stretched directly from that distant beacon to her very core. When she awoke, the feeling lingered. The memory of the star, its unique pulse, the faint, wistful melody, it clung to her like the last vestiges of sleep. She often woke with this sensation, a quiet longing that tugged at her heart, a yearning for something she couldn't quite name. She slipped out of her sleep silk, which hummed softly as it folded itself into a neat cube at the foot of her bed. The luminous sky city was stirring. The gentle chime of energy conduits powering up, the faint whisper of automated cleaning drones gliding along the transparent walkways, the distant, muffled voices of early risers in the hydroponic gardens. Elara padded barefoot to her viewport. The aurorae had faded, replaced by the brilliant, unbroken expanse of the starfield. Luminous power collectors, vast, iridescent sails, now glowed with collected energy, painting the immediate sky in hues of emerald and gold. "Good morning, Elara." A soft, resonant voice echoed from the muses, the collective AI that governed Lumina. Its presence was always gentle, never intrusive, woven into the very fabric of the city. "Your grandmother, Lyra, has requested your presence in the astrolabe gardens. She awaits you for morning nutrient paste and a discussion on stellar cartography." Elara smiled. Grandma Lyra was an astronomer, a historian, and in Elara's secret opinion, a keeper of ancient cosmic secrets. Lyra's apartment, connected to the astrolabe gardens, was a fragrant labyrinth of native Aeonian flora and exotic plants from 100 different worlds, all thriving under carefully calibrated light and nutrient feeds. But its true magic lay in the transparent dome that served as its ceiling, offering an unparalleled view of the stars. She dressed quickly in her soft, comfortable tunic and trousers, grabbed her datapad, and stepped out into the curving hallway. Aeroskiffs, the city's primary mode of transport, glided silently along designated lanes, ferrying citizens to their destinations. Elara preferred to walk, enjoying the quiet hum of the city and the sense of movement around her. The astrolabe gardens were a sanctuary of green and light. Towering alien ferns unfurled fronds of sapphire and crimson, while bioluminescent flowers pulsed with a gentle rhythm, mimicking the distant stars. In the center of the largest garden chamber, under the vast transparent dome, Lyra sat at a low, elegant table, stirring a bowl of nutrient paste. Her silver hair, usually pulled back in a neat braid, was unbound, framing a face etched with the wisdom of many cycles. Her eyes, the same warm hazel as Elara's, twinkled with amusement. "There you are, little stargazer," Lyra said, gesturing to the seat opposite her. "I trust the sleep silk was kind to you last night." Elara settled into her seat, accepting a bowl of warm berry-flavored paste. "It was, Grandma. But I had my own dreams." She spooned a mouthful of the paste, its rich, sweet flavor a familiar comfort. "I saw a star, a new one I think, very far away." Lyra paused, her spoon hovering over her bowl. Her gaze sharpened, losing some of its playful twinkle, replaced by a deep, knowing look. "Oh, and what was this star like?" Elara described it, the quiet pulse, the faint, sad melody, the feeling of connection. She didn't mention the longing, not directly, but Lyra seemed to understand. "A star that sings, you say?" Lyra mused, a soft smile touching her lips. "And you felt a recognition?" Elara nodded, pushing a blueberry around her bowl. "It felt like it was waiting for something, or looking for something." Lyra leaned back, her gaze drifting upwards to the dome, where the real stars glittered. "Sometimes the universe speaks to us in dreams, Elara, especially to those with open hearts and minds." She reached across the table, taking Elara's small hand in her own. Her touch was warm, comforting. "Do you know the old legends of the Stardust, sir?" Elara's eyes widened. She had heard snippets, of course. Lumina was a city built on science and logic, but ancient stories still lingered in the whispernet, shared like precious heirlooms. The one who guides lost stars?" Lyra nodded slowly. "Precisely. In the days before FDL drives, before even the first colonial ships left old Earth, when humanity was still confined to its cradle world, there were stories. Stories of a cosmic shepherd, a weaver of the void. They called it the Stardust, sir. Not a ship, not a person, not even an AI, but something more. An entity, they said, born of pure starlight and cosmic dust, whose purpose... But that's just a story, isn't it?" Elara asked, though a part of her, the part that still felt the star's pulse, wanted it to be true. "All stories begin somewhere, little one," Lyra said, her gaze returning to Elara. "And sometimes, the oldest stories hold the deepest truths, truths that science only rediscovers millennia later." She paused, then continued, her voice dropping to a near whisper. "The old texts, the ones preserved from the earliest days of space exploration, speak of faint energy signatures, almost imperceptible, found in the deepest void, signatures that defied known physics, that seemed to herald localized gravitational anomalies, or stabilize nascent stellar nurseries. They were always attributed to random cosmic phenomena, but the patterns were too intricate, too purposeful to be Elara listened intently, her breakfast forgotten. This was the kind of knowledge Lyra shared only with her, the kind that made the universe feel vast and wondrous and full of hidden magic. Just then, a soft chime echoed through the astrolabe gardens. It was the Muses, their gentle tone now carrying an undertone of subtle concern. "Apologies for the interruption, Lyra," the Muse's voice resonated. "A matter of stellar observation requires your immediate expertise. A celestial anomaly has been detected in the Perseus arm, approximately 12,000 light cycles distant. Lyra's expression shifted, her academic interest now fully engaged. She rose, her movements swift and graceful despite her age. Unusual how, Muses? Its luminosity is diminishing at an accelerated and unpredictable rate, the Muses replied. Gravimetric readings are fluctuating erratically, and spectroscopic analysis indicates an unprecedented decay of its core fusion. Current projections suggest a complete stellar collapse within a matter of standard cycles, far sooner than any known stellar evolution model predicts. Elara felt a jolt. Alwainsia, Alpha 7. The designation felt familiar, like a word on the tip of her tongue. Lyra was already walking towards a shimmering holographic display that materialized in the center of the garden. It showed a distant blue-white star, now flickering with an unsettling, irregular rhythm. A rapid collapse, without a prior nova phase or significant external perturbation. That's highly irregular. Have you cross-referenced with all known stellar extinction events? Affirmative, Lyra. No comparable data exists. Our current observational technologies are struggling to obtain stable readings due to the unprecedented instability of its energy output. It is as if the star is unraveling from within. Elara stepped closer, drawn by an irresistible force. As she gazed at the flickering image of CSR Alpha 7, the faint, wistful melody from her dream returned, louder now, more insistent. And the familiar pulse, the one she had felt in her sleep, resonated deep within her chest. It was her own star. The lonely, distant star from her dream. Can anything be done? Lyra asked, her brow furrowed in concentration. The Muses were powerful, the pinnacle of AI intelligence, but even they had limitations when faced with cosmic phenomena on such a scale. Or long-range probes would take centuries to reach its vicinity. Lyra, the Muses responded, a rare note of helplessness in its voice. And current energy projection technologies are insufficient to counteract a collapse of this magnitude. Even if we were within range, we can only observe and record its extinction. Elara felt a sudden sharp ache in her chest. The star, her star, was dying. And there was nothing anyone could do. The melody in her mind swelled with a profound sadness, mirroring the quiet despair emanating from the flickering star. Wait, Elara whispered, reaching out a trembling hand towards the holographic image. It's singing, can't you hear it? Lyra and the Muses paused. Lyra looked at Elara, a flicker of understanding in her eyes. Singing, Elara, what do you mean? The melody, Elara insisted, her voice barely audible. The one from my dream. It's coming from the star, and it's sad. It's saying goodbye. The Muses processed her words. Elara's biosignatures indicate a heightened state of empathetic response, Lyra. There are no auditory frequencies detected from PSA Alpha 7 beyond the expected stellar emissions, however. Lyra, however, didn't dismiss it. She knelt beside Elara, her gaze gentle. Your dreams, little one, have always been more than mere subconscious projections. Perhaps you hear what others cannot. Perhaps you feel what others only observe. She looked at the dying star, then back at Elara, a new thought dawning in her eyes. The Stardust, Sir, Elara. The legends say it guides lost stars, perhaps. A thought, sudden and brilliant as a supernova, ignited in Elara's mind. If the Stardust, Sir, could guide lost stars, could it not also save a dying one? We have to find it, Elara declared, her voice firm, the sadness in her replaced by a burning resolve. We have to find the Stardust, Sir. It can help Sarah Alpha 7, Tonti. Lyra looked at her granddaughter, then at the flickering star, then back at Elara's determined face. A deep sigh escaped her lips, a mixture of concern and a flicker of hope. Elara, the Stardust, Sir, is a legend. There's no physical evidence, no known coordinates, no ship to launch, no signal to trace. But you said the oldest stories hold the deepest truths, Elara countered, her hazel eyes fixed on Lyra's. And I feel it, Grandma. I feel like this star, it's calling to me. And maybe, just maybe, it's calling to the Stardust, Sir, too. The Muses, ever pragmatic, interjected. While Elara's intuition is noted, and her unique sensitivity to cosmic phenomena has been observed in previous instances, the probability of locating a legendary entity with no verifiable existence within the timeframe of Psi Alpha 7's imminent collapse is infinitesimally low. Infinitesimally low is not impossible, Muses, Lyra said, standing up, her hand resting gently on Elara's shoulder. She looked at the holographic star, then at the vast star-dusted dome above them. The Muses were right. Scientifically, it was absurd. But there was something in Elara's conviction, something in the way the child connected with the cosmos, that resonated with Lyra's own deep-seated belief in the universe's hidden wonders. Elara, Lyra said, her voice soft but serious. Even if the Stardust Sir were real, and even if we could find it, the journey would be immense, beyond anything luminous technology can achieve in such a short time. But what if it's not about a ship, Grandma? Elara asked, her gaze distant, as if already traversing the vastness of space. What if it's about listening? What if it's about connection? A faint, almost imperceptible hum resonated through the astrolabe gardens. It wasn't the Muses, nor the city's usual ambient thrum. It was something else, something subtle, like a whisper carried on a cosmic breeze. Elara felt it, a gentle vibration echoing the star's distant pulse. Lyra felt it too, a shiver running down her spine. The Muses, however, registered nothing. Perhaps, Lyra murmured, her eyes wide with a dawning realization. Perhaps it is, Elara. Perhaps it has always been about connection. She looked at the flickering star, then at her granddaughter, a spark of audacious hope igniting in her heart. Tell me, little stargazer, if you were to listen with all your heart, where would you begin to look for a whisper? Elara closed her eyes, letting the star's sad song fill her. She reached out with her mind, with her heart, past the astrolabe gardens, past Lumina, past Eon's swirling clouds, past the familiar constellations, into the deep, dark void where Psi Alpha 7 flickered its last. She felt the subtle hum again, stronger this time, a gentle pull. I would look, Elara said, opening her eyes, her gaze clear and unwavering, where the stardust is thickest, where the oldest light still lingers. And I would listen for the quietest song. Lyra nodded slowly. Then we shall begin there, Elara. We shall begin by listening. She turned to the Muses. Muses, access all historical data, all legends, all apocryphal tales referencing the Stardust Sir. The Muses, after a moment's processing, responded. Such a directive contains numerous logical inconsistencies and low probability metrics, Lyra. However, acknowledging the unique circumstances and Elara's documented empathic capacities, the request is being processed. Commencing deep scan of the historical WhisperNet archives, focusing on pre-interstellar era cosmological myths and legends, cross-referencing with unclassified stellar anomaly reports. Elara felt a surge of exhilaration mixed with a profound sense of responsibility. The star was singing its farewell, and she, Elara, was the only one who could hear it. And she would find the Stardust Sir, no matter how distant, no matter how mythical. Because a star, even a dying one, deserved a proper song of hope, not just a sad goodbye. The quest for the Stardust Sir, the mythical guardian of lost stars, had begun. And deep within the vast indifferent cosmos, the distant star Psi Alpha 7 flickered, its light dimming, its song growing ever fainter, waiting. The quest for the Stardust Sir, the mythical guardian of lost stars, had begun. And deep within the vast indifferent cosmos, the distant star Alpha 7 flickered, its light dimming, its song growing ever fainter, waiting. Elara stood on the bridge of Theta Luminine, her personal explorer-class vessel, a ship as much a home as it was a tool. Its sleek pearlescent hull seemed to drink in the starlight, glowing softly from within, designed for long voyages through the quiet between worlds. The Luminine wasn't a warship, nor a cargo hauler. It was a vessel of discovery, built for curiosity and wonder, perfect for a girl who heard the songs of stars. Trajectory set, Elara. Destination. The whispering nebula, a calm, synthesized voice hummed from the ship's console. It was Aura, the Luminine's integrated AI, her companion and confidant. Aura's interface was a gentle, swirling aurora of blues and greens projected onto the main screen, always shifting, always responsive. According to the ancient star charts you procured, it is the closest known celestial body with documented gravitational anomalies, consistent with, shall we say, unconventional stellar remnants. Elara nodded, her gaze fixed on the star-dusted viewscreen. Unconventional stellar remnants, she repeated softly, a small smile touching her lips. That's a very polite way of saying things no one understands. She could still feel the faint hum of Sci-Fi Alpha 7, a thread of sorrow woven through the cosmic tapestry. It was a constant reminder, a gentle ache in her chest that propelled her forward. Indeed, Aura replied, the aurora on the screen rippling as if in agreement. My databases indicate a high probability of unique energy signatures within its dust clouds. If the Stardust Sura is indeed a keeper of lost celestial bodies, such a location would be a logical point of interest. Their first jump was a smooth, breathtaking blur of light and color, wide luminum slipping through the folds of space as easily as a dream. When the ship re-emerged, it was into a panorama of breathtaking beauty. The Whispering Nebula unfurled before them, a colossal canvas painted with cosmic dust and gas. Swirls of lavender, emerald and gold danced around nascent star systems, while deeper pockets of midnight blue hinted at ancient collapsed cores. It wasn't just beautiful, it felt alive, a grand, slow breath of the universe. Elara activated the ship's external audio sensors, hoping to catch more than just the visual spectacle. The silence of space was often misleading. What she heard wasn't a song like PSR Alpha 7's, but a symphony of faint, overlapping echoes. It was the gentle hiss of cooling gas, the soft thrum of distant stellar winds, and something else. A barely perceptible whisper, like 1,000 tiny voices speaking just beyond the edge of hearing. The Whispering Nebula lives up to its name, Elara murmured, her fingers tracing the shimmering patterns on the screen. Aura, can you filter for any distinct patterns in these echoes? Anything that doesn't fit the natural resonance of the nebula? The aurora pulsed intently. Processing. The ambient energy here is complex, Elara. Many overlapping frequencies. However, there are anomalies, faint, highly organized energy signatures, almost like residual vibrations from something incredibly powerful, long since past. Like the song of a star? Elara asked, her heart quickening. Possibly, but these are echoes, not active transmissions. Like the ghost of a sound rather than the sound itself, they seem to emanate from the core of the nebula, a region of higher stellar density. The luminum drifted deeper into the nebula, the light outside growing richer and more diffuse. Elara felt a profound sense of peace here, despite the solemnity of her mission. It was a place where creation and dissolution mingled, where new stars were born from the dust of old ones. She wondered if the Stardust Sura found beauty in this cycle, or if its purpose was to defy it, to save those stars that weren't meant to fade. Hours turned into a quiet vigil. Aura meticulously mapped the anomaly patterns, tracing them through the swirling gas. Elara, meanwhile, meditated, trying to attune her unique ability to the nebula's whispers. She felt the dying song of Sci-Fi Alpha 7 growing weaker, a fragile thread stretched across unimaginable distances, a constant reminder of the urgency. Suddenly, Aura's aurora brightened. Elara, I have isolated a distinct repetitive pattern within the core anomalies. It's incredibly faint, but it's there. It's not a natural stellar phenomenon, it's a sequence. A sequence? Yes, a highly complex, almost mathematical pattern. It seems to point towards a specific location within the nebula, not a star but a void, a space where the energy signatures abruptly cease. Elara adjusted the ship's course. To the void then. Perhaps that's where the whispers go to rest. As they approached the indicated coordinates, the nebula's colors deepened, becoming almost melancholic. The echoes too grew more pronounced, a chorus of faint, sad notes that seemed to mourn something ancient. The void was a patch of utter blackness, a hole punched clean through the vibrant clouds, almost perfectly spherical. It's a gravitational singularity, Elara, Aura reported, her voice laced with mild surprise. Not a black hole, but a region of warped spacetime, It appears to be an artificial construct, incredibly old, cloaked by the nebula's energies. A kind of cosmic doorway. Elara's breath hitched. A doorway. This felt like a real clue, not just a whisper. Can we enter it, Aura? Scanning for stability. Energy fluctuations are minimal. It appears dormant, but stable. There are faint traces of what seem to be navigational data embedded within its field. Incredibly complex, almost like a lock-and-key mechanism. It requires a specific energy signature to open. Elara closed her eyes, focusing on the faint fading song of PS Alpha 7. It was a song of longing, of a star's last desperate hope. She reached out with her mind, letting the melody of the dying star flow through her, connecting her to its fading light. She pictured the star, a distant, beautiful beacon, shrinking into oblivion. Aura, she said, her voice soft but firm. Can you synchronize the Luminan's energy emitters with the song of PS Alpha 7, match its frequency, its unique signature? A moment of silence. Then Aura's aurora pulsed with renewed vigor. A fascinating proposition, Elara. The star's unique frequency is remarkably precise, attempting synchronization. Now, Elara commanded, her heart pounding. Send the song. A low hum vibrated through Aether Luminan. Outside, a beam of pure shimmering starlight, drawn from the ship's core and infused with the frequency of Sia Alpha 7, pulsed towards the dark void. For a second, nothing happened. Then the edges of the void began to shimmer, not with light, but with an absence of it, a deeper kind of dark. A ripple spread across its surface, like water disturbed by a pebble. Slowly, majestically, the spherical void began to open, revealing not more darkness, but a shimmering tunnel of pure light, a tunnel that seemed to stretch into eternity. It worked, Elara whispered, awestruck. The star's song, it opened the way. Indeed, Aura confirmed, a note of wonder in her synthesized voice. The navigational data within the singularity has activated. It appears to lead to a nexus of ancient knowledge, destination. The Archivist's asteroid. Elara took a deep breath. This was it. The first, true. Prepare for transit, Aura. Let's find out what the Archivist knows about the Stardust, sir. Illuminant slipped silently into the tunnel of light, leaving the whispering nebula behind. The journey through the shimmering pathway was disorienting yet beautiful, a kaleidoscope of colors that defied earthly physics. It felt like traveling through a thought, through a dream woven from starlight. Elara felt a strange sense of exhilaration mixed with a growing trepidation. She was closer, but the path ahead was still shrouded in mystery. They emerged into a different kind of space. Not the vast, open expanse, but a dense field of asteroids, all ranging in size from small pebbles to minor moons. But these weren't ordinary asteroids. They glowed with a faint internal light, crisscrossed with intricate patterns of ancient metallic structures. This was no natural formation. Welcome to the Archivist's asteroid, Aura announced, her aurora swirling with new data. Designation, Kalan 7. It appears to be a colossal, hollowed-out asteroid, approximately 500 kilometers in diameter, teeming with information conduits and data storage units. The external structures are defensive, though long dormant. Elara guided Voluminan through the asteroid field, marveling at the sheer scale of the place. It was a library, a repository of knowledge carved into the heart of a cosmic wanderer. She could feel the weight of countless eons of information pressing in on her, a silent testament to civilizations long gone. They docked at a designated port, a cavernous opening carved into the asteroid's surface, illuminated by soft, pulsing lights. The air inside was cool and still, carrying the faint scent of ozone and something else, something metallic and ancient. Greetings, traveler, a new voice echoed through either Luminan's comms, deeper and more resonant than Aura's, yet equally calm. I am Kalan, the primary archival intelligence of this facility. You are the first to activate the Singularity Gate in 3042 cycles. What knowledge do you seek? Elara stepped onto the gangplank, Aura's projection shimmering beside her, forming a comforting presence. Before them stood not a being of flesh and blood, but a colossal, intricate construct of crystalline latticework and polished metal, vaguely humanoid in shape, but with many delicate, articulated limbs. Its eyes were twin points of soft blue light that seemed to see into her very soul. This was the archivist. "Greetings, Kaelin," Elara replied, her voice steady despite the awe she felt. "I seek information about the Stardust, sir, a mythical guardian of lost stars." Kaelin's crystalline form hummed softly, and its blue eyes seemed to flicker. "The Stardust, sir," it repeated, the words resonating with ancient echoes. "A legend woven from the earliest light of the cosmos. Many have sought this entity, few have found even a trace. Its nature is debated. Some say it is a being, others a place, a process, or even a collective consciousness." "I know it's a long shot," Elara said, "but a star is dying, Kaelin." Kaelin shifted, its numerous limbs making a soft, melodic clinking sound. "The song of a dying star, a rare gift you possess, child of the void. Such a connection would indeed make you uniquely suited to this quest. The star is said to be attuned to the deepest resonances of the cosmos." The archivist then gestured with one of its many limbs towards a vast, circular chamber that stretched endlessly into the asteroid's core. Glowing data spines rose from the floor, reaching towards a central pillar of light, each spine representing eons of stored knowledge. "Come," Kaelin invited. "The information regarding the Stardust, sir, is fragmented, scattered across countless civilizations and epochs, but I will show you what I have gathered. Be warned, the truth of the sir is elusive, veiled in metaphor and ancient languages." Elara and Aura followed Kaelin into the heart of the archive. The chamber was immense, filled with a soft, pulsing light that seemed to emanate from the very data itself. It was a place of quiet reverence, where the accumulated wisdom of the universe lay dormant, waiting to be rediscovered. Kaelin began to project images into the air, swirling constellations of data, ancient texts, and holographic representations of celestial phenomena. The earliest mentions of the Sir come from the Stellar Weavers, a civilization that existed before the first great galactic expansion. They describe the Sir as the one who catches the falling light, inhabiting the realm where time unravels. Later cultures, like the Lumina Collective, perhaps the inspiration for your vessel's name, spoke of the Sir as the silent listener, residing beyond the Veil of Echoes. "The Veil of Echoes," Elara repeated, a flicker of recognition. "Aura, isn't that what we heard in the Whispering Nebula?" "The Whispering Nebula is a region of amplified stellar echoes," Aura confirmed. "But the Veil of Echoes is a more specific term in some ancient mythologies, often referring to a boundary, a place where the past becomes tangible." "Precisely," Kaelin interjected. "The Veil of Echoes is not merely a nebula, it is a region of space-time instability, often manifesting near supermassive black holes or ancient, hyperdense star clusters. It is a place where the very fabric of existence thins, allowing faint imprints of past events to become momentarily visible or audible. It is said that the Sir chooses to manifest there, to gather the echoes of lost stars." Kaelin then displayed a complex star chart, highlighting a specific, incredibly distant region of space. "My oldest records suggest that beyond the Veil of Echoes lies a place known only as the Cradle of Forgotten Light. It is not a planet nor a star, but a nexus point within the veil where the echoes converge, and where the Sir is rumored to have its most frequent presence. Accessing it requires navigating the veil itself, which is fraught with danger, both physical and existential." "Existential?" Elara asked, a knot forming in her stomach. "The veil can project visions, memories, and even emotions from long-dead stars and civilizations. It can be overwhelming, disorienting. Many who enter it never return, lost in the echoes of others' lives, forgetting their own purpose." Kaelin paused, its blue eyes fixing on Elara. "But it is the only lead I can offer. The path lies through the veil, to the Cradle of Forgotten Light." Elara looked at the holographic star chart, then back at Kaelin. The image of the dying star, ESR Alpha 7, flashed in her mind, its song growing ever fainter. The responsibility weighed heavily on her, but so did the hope. "Thank you, Kaelin," she said, a new resolve hardening in her voice. "This is more than I could have hoped for. Aura, prepare Blue the Luminine." As if the Luminine departed the Archivist's asteroid, leaving the quiet wisdom of Kaelin behind, Elara felt a renewed sense of purpose. The path was clearer now, though no less daunting. The Vale of Echoes. A place where the past could reach out and touch you, where the very fabric of reality was thin. It was a perilous journey, but the song of SSR Alpha 7, though faint, still pulsed within her, a beacon in the cosmic dark. The journey to the Vale of Echoes was long, spanning several meticulously calculated jumps through quiet sectors of space. Elara spent this time in preparation, physically and mentally. Aura ran simulations of navigating the Vale, predicting gravitational anomalies and energy fluctuations. Elara meanwhile practiced her meditation, strengthening her mental shields, preparing her mind to confront the potential onslaught of ancient echoes. She knew she couldn't allow herself to be swayed, to lose her purpose. The dying star depended on her. Finally, they arrived at the periphery of the Vale. It wasn't a nebula, like the Whispering Nebula, nor an asteroid field. It was a vast, almost imperceptible distortion in the fabric of space, like looking through a pane of ancient, wavy glass. Distant stars seemed to shimmer and swim, their light stretched and compressed in impossible ways. It looked deceptively peaceful, but Aura's sensors screamed with warnings of chaotic energy. "The Vale of Echoes," Aura announced, her aurora swirling with a nervous energy that belied her usual calm. "Energy readings are highly erratic. Space-time is fluctuating. Navigating this region will require constant manual adjustments, Elara. My automated systems may struggle to compensate." Elara gripped the controls, her knuckles white. "Understood, Aura. Let's take it slow. Minimum warp, maximum caution, Tarchan." As Yethaluminang eased into the Vale, the ship's internal lights flickered, and a low hum vibrated through the deck plates. The view screen became a kaleidoscope of fleeting images. A sun exploding in slow motion, a planet teeming with alien life, a starship glinting with impossible speed, all gone as quickly as they appeared. And the sounds. Oh, the sounds were overwhelming. Not just the whispers now, but a cacophony of voices, of celestial music, of desperate cries, of joyous laughter, all layered on top of each other, fading in and out of coherence. Elara closed her eyes, fighting the urge to flinch. The Veil wasn't just showing her images, it was projecting emotions, memories. She felt the searing heat of a supernova, the crushing loneliness of a rogue planet, the collective fear of a civilization facing extinction, the profound love between two beings separated by light years. It was a torrent, threatening to drown her in the accumulated history of the cosmos. "Focus, Elara," she whispered to herself, taking deep, centering breaths. She pictured TSR Alpha 7, its fading light, its simple, mournful song. That was her anchor, her purpose. She was not here to relive history, but to save a future. "Elara, I am detecting a strong gravitational pull ahead," Aura warned, her voice strained. "It appears to be a micro-singularity, a remnant of a collapsed star, perfectly hidden within the Veil's distortions. Adjusting course manually." Elara wrestled with the controls, while the Luminine bucking and groaning under the strain. The echoes intensified, trying to distract her, to pull her into their ancient dramas. She saw the faces of forgotten beings, felt their joys and sorrows as if they were her own. For a terrifying moment, she forgot why she was there, lost in a memory of a star she'd never seen, a life she'd never lived. Then, the fading song of CSR L7, weaker than ever, pierced through the din. It was a tiny, fragile thread, but it was Hoi thread. It reminded her. Her star. Her promise. With renewed resolve, she fought back, pushing the extraneous thoughts and emotions away. "Aura, full power to the stabilizers, I've got this." She executed a complex series of maneuvers, relying on instinct and the sheer will to survive. The Luminang scraped past the invisible edge of the micro-singularity, its shields flaring violently. Then they were free, deeper into the Veil, but intact. "Well done, Elara," Aura said, her voice regaining its composure. "That was impressive. We are now within the inner layers of the Veil. The echoes are more coherent here, less chaotic, I am detecting a convergence point, a focal area where the energy signatures are unusually dense and stable. This matches Kalen's description of the cradle of forgotten light. Elara looked out at the view screen. The chaotic shimmer had subsided somewhat, replaced by a more organized, yet still surreal, display. Now, the echoes weren't just random flashes. They were like translucent, shimmering ghost images, playing out silent, looping scenes in the void. She saw spectral ships, ancient and elegant, drifting through fields of stardust. She saw faint, glowing cities on phantom planets, their lights winking out one by one. And everywhere, she felt the lingering presence of stars, not just their light, but their very being, their songs in a silent visual form. The cradle of forgotten light, Elara whispered, a sense of profound reverence washing over her. This was a place of cosmic memory, a sanctuary for the remnants of what once was. She wondered if the Stardust Sir was here, gathering these echoes, tending to these ghostly memories. As Illuminae approached the convergence point, the echoes became almost solid, forming a shimmering, iridescent nebula of pure light and memory. At its very heart, Elara saw something that made her heart leap. It wasn't a star, nor a planet. It was a structure, impossibly ancient, yet radiating a profound sense of peace. It was a colossal, crystalline formation, shaped like a multifaceted flower, its petals unfurling towards the surrounding echoes, absorbing them, transforming them. This wasn't just a place. It felt like a living entity, a monument built by the universe itself to remember its lost children. Could this be the Stardust Sir? Or was it merely its abode? As Illuminae drew closer, the structure began to hum, a deep, resonant sound that wasn't a song, but a feeling. It was a feeling of deep understanding, of profound sorrow, and of infinite gentle patience. Elara felt tears prick her eyes. The song of SR Alpha 7, now barely a whisper, seemed to merge with this larger hum. A tiny voice welcomed into an ancient choir. The colossal crystal flower pulsed, and from its heart, a single brilliant beam of pure white light extended, reaching out towards Hodlimagine, not as a threat, but as an invitation. It was a light that felt like home, like solace, like the promise of hope. Elara knew, deep in her soul, that she had found a part of what she was seeking. The Stardust Sir, or at least its sacred domain, was finally within reach. But what would she find within that light? And would it be enough to save a dying star? Elara didn't hesitate. Lumina, she whispered, her voice barely audible above the ship's gentle hum. Accept the invitation. Approach the light. A soft chime resonated through the cockpit, as the ship's ancient AI, designed for intuitive response, acknowledged her command. Illuminae's inertial dampeners tightened, a subtle shift in its energy field. The colossal crystal flower, now filling the entire viewport, pulsed with an even brighter intensity, its light beam unwavering. It wasn't a static column, it shimmered with iridescent motes, like a river of condensed nebulae. As Illuminae drew closer, Elara felt a strange sensation wash over her, not a physical force, but an emotional one. It was a profound sense of peace, an echo of forgotten memories, a lullaby from the dawn of time. Lumi, perched on the console, chirped softly, its bioluminescent fur momentarily flaring in response to the light's proximity. Even the usually stoic ship seemed to sigh, its subtle vibrations smoothing into a harmonic hum. The bow of Illuminae dipped gracefully, gliding into the shimmering column. There was no jolt, no resistance, no sudden blinding flash. Instead, the light enveloped them, not as an external force, but as an internal transformation. The view through the viewport dissolved into a kaleidoscopic dance of pure energy. Elara felt a warmth spread through her, not the heat of a sun, but the comforting embrace of universal understanding. It was as if every atom in her body resonated with the light, singing a forgotten song. Outside, the stars vanished. Inside, Illuminae was suspended in an infinite ocean of white, interspersed with fleeting emerald and sapphire currents. The ship's diagnostic displays flickered, then settled into a serene green, indicating all systems were operating within optimal, if entirely unprecedented, parameters. Even the familiar hum of the life support system seemed to shift, becoming a part of the light's silent symphony. Elara unstrapped herself, her movements slow and deliberate. The air itself felt different, cleaner, crisper, yet somehow softer, carrying a faint, sweet scent she couldn't quite place, like ozone mixed with blooming night flowers. She walked to the viewport, pressing her hand against the cool, transparent surface. The light was no longer just a beam. It was the entirety of their existence. It felt like being cradled in the very heart of creation. Then, gradually, the form of the crystal flower began to resolve around them, not as an exterior view, but as a vast internal landscape. Luminar was being guided into its core, deep within its crystalline architecture. The light around them subtly condensed, revealing immense translucent petals that curved upwards and inwards, forming a colossal, hollow cathedral. The inner surfaces of these petals were not smooth. They were intricate tapestries of crystalline filaments, each glowing with an inner luminescence, casting patterns of shifting light and shadow across the cavernous space. Below them, a shimmering floor of what looked like solidified starlight stretched out, reflecting the light from above. Structures began to coalesce in the distance, rising like ethereal spires from this luminous ground. They weren't built of stone or metal, but of pure, condensed light, twisting and turning in impossible geometries, humming with a barely perceptible energy. Some resembled colossal trees, their branches unfurling into delicate, glowing networks. Others were intricate, multifaceted towers that pulsed with a deep, rhythmic beat, like the heart of a sleeping giant. The Illuminant drifted lower, descending towards a particularly vast, open area where the luminous ground seemed to gather, forming a central plaza of light. The ship came to a gentle rest, its repulsor sighing as they settled. The light outside the viewport remained, a testament to the fact that they were still enveloped, protected, and perhaps observed. "We're here, Lumi," Elara whispered, a sense of profound awe washing over her. "We're inside." Lumi gave a soft, trilling sound, its fur now pulsing with a gentle, steady rhythm, mirroring the environment. Elara took a deep breath, the air filling her lungs with that strangely invigorating sweet scent. She knew, with an instinct far older than her years, that this was not merely a physical space, but a spiritual one. This was the sanctuary of the Stardust, sir. She moved to the airlock, her heart thrumming with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The inner hatch cycled open with a soft hiss, revealing not a dark alien void, but a continuation of the same radiant crystalline atmosphere. The light that had enveloped Faye the Luminal now permeated the entire internal landscape of the flower. Stepping out, Elara felt the gentle resilience of the starlight floor beneath her boots. It wasn't solid in the traditional sense, but had a subtle give, like walking on compacted nebulae. The air was warm, perfectly still, yet alive with a faint vibrational hum that resonated deep in her bones. She looked up, and the crystalline petals of the colossal flower soared overhead, seeming to stretch into infinity, their radiant veins forming constellations of pure energy. "Incredible," she breathed, her voice a hushed whisper in the immense silence. Lumi floated from the ship, settling on her shoulder, its soft weight a grounding presence. Its glowing fur cast tiny dancing reflections on the crystalline structures around them. As her eyes adjusted to the sheer scale and luminosity, Elara began to discern details. The structures around the central plaza were not just abstract light forms. Some seemed to be vast libraries, their shelves filled with shimmering volumes of condensed light, each pulsating with unique patterns. Others were immense observatories, their domes focusing and refracting cosmic energies into intricate displays that danced across their surfaces. There was no sign of a conventional entrance, no door, no path. Yet, as Elara took a step forward, a pathway of subtle shifting luminescence materialized before her, a gentle guide across the starlight ground. It led towards one of the more intricate structures, a spiraling tower of interwoven light filaments that seemed to hum with a particularly strong energy signature. "It's inviting us," Elara murmured, following the path. As she approached the tower, the filaments began to subtly shift, parting to form an archway. She stepped through, finding herself in a vast, circular chamber. The walls were not solid, but comprised of countless impossibly thin crystal strands, each vibrating with a different frequency, creating a harmonic resonance that filled the space. In the center of the chamber, suspended effortlessly in the air, was a single immense crystal, pure and unblemished, radiating a gentle, steady pulse of light. It was the source, she realized, of the invitation, the heart of the flower's light beam. As she stood before it, the crystal pulsed with renewed intensity. The vibrational hum in the room deepened, and the light patterns on the crystal walls began to coalesce, forming intricate, luminous symbols, a language of light that Elara instinctively felt she could almost understand. Then, from the heart of the central crystal, a new light emerged. It wasn't a beam, but a delicate, swirling vortex of iridescent particles, like a miniature galaxy forming before her eyes. The particles coalesced, swirling faster and faster, until they formed a vaguely humanoid shape, shimmering and translucent. It had no distinct features, no mouth or eyes, but Elara felt an overwhelming sense of presence, of ancient wisdom and boundless empathy. "Welcome, Elara of Solaria," a voice resonated directly within her mind, clear and calm, yet layered with the echoes of countless ages. It wasn't spoken in any language she knew, but rather communicated as pure thought, as understanding. "Where have awaited your coming?" "Oon." Elara gasped, not in fear, but in profound astonishment. You are the Stardust, sir," she managed to project, her thoughts forming into a question. The shimmering form rippled, a visual affirmation. "They are the collective consciousness. The Stardust, sir, is not a single entity, but the network, the repository, the guardian. We are the echo of those who built this sanctuary, and the living memory of the cosmos itself." "Mimnan, you knew I was coming?" Elara asked, her awe tempered with a touch of bewilderment. "The ripples in the cosmic web speak to us," the Stardust, sir, communicated. "The distress of a star, the journey of a soul seeking balance, these are signals we perceive. Your star, Solaria, has been singing a song of discord for some time. And your own unique resonance, Elara, the stardust within you, shone brightly on our sensors." "Inizanen, innate? My stardust?" "Yes. The innate connection to the universal energies, the empathy that drives your quest, the willingness to sacrifice for a greater harmony. These are the qualities that allow one to truly interact with the threads of cosmic creation. Many have sought us, Elara, but few possess the internal light to truly see." "In Eli, Selmas?" Elara felt a flush of humility and pride. "My star is dying," she stated, the urgency of her quest momentarily overshadowing her wonder. "Can you help it? Can you save Solaria?" The shimmering form seemed to pulse with a gentle sadness. "The condition of Solaria is complex. It is not merely a decay of stellar matter, but a disharmony within the greater symphony of its stellar cluster. A localized imbalance that, if left unchecked, could propagate, creating ripples of decay across other systems." "Than? A disharmony?" Elara pressed, trying to grasp the abstract concept. "Imagine the universe as a vast, intricate song," Elara, the Stardust, sir, projected. "Each star, each planet, each living being, contributes a unique note, a specific frequency. When a star deviates too far from its intended harmony, when its energy output becomes erratic, or its internal processes become chaotic, it creates a discord that affects those around it. Solaria's song is fracturing, its light growing dim, not just from within, but from a growing dissonance with its cosmic neighbors." "Verstehen? So it's not just about adding energy back." "No, Dottin. It is about restoring balance. We possess the knowledge, the archived frequencies of nascent stars, the blueprints of cosmic harmony. But the solution requires more than just passive transmission. It requires a conduit, a catalyst, one who can bridge the gap between our ancient knowledge and the active living energy of a star. One who can resonate with both." "Yeah, me?" Elara asked, a knot forming in her stomach. The weight of the universe seemed to settle on her shoulders. "You, Elara. Your connection, your stardust, is the key. You have the capacity to become the tuning fork, to carry the frequency of cosmic balance back to Solaria. But it is not a simple task. It will require you to delve deeper, into the very heart of the Stardust, sir, and into the deepest chambers of your own being. Why? The shimmering form expanded slightly, and the crystalline walls of the chamber shimmered with new patterns, far more complex than before. Within this sanctuary, there are 3 primary chambers of resonance. Each holds a fragment of the universal truth regarding stellar harmony. The chamber of ethereal current, the chamber of chronal flux, and the chamber of stellar genesis. To restore Solaria's balance, you must journey through each of them, and gather the essence of their wisdom. Fine. What will I find there? Elara asked, her voice hushed. You will find challenges. Not of strength, but of understanding. Not of physical endurance, but of spiritual clarity. You must learn to perceive the subtle energies, to listen to the whispers of the cosmic song, and to harmonize your own internal light with the ancient frequencies we preserve. Denwen. Lumi, sensing Elara's apprehension, nuzzled her cheek, its soft glow a comforting warmth. And if I fail? Elara's voice was barely a whisper. The thought of her home, her family, her people, fading into cold oblivion, was a pain sharper than any physical wound. Failure is merely a delay in understanding, the Stardust Sir projected, its tone gentle. But the consequences for Solaria, if its song is not restored, will be profound. The discord will deepen, and its light will eventually cease, taking all life within its system with it. The ripple effect will continue, weakening the cosmic web. Wind. Elara closed her eyes for a moment, picturing the vibrant blue-green world of Solaria Prime, the laughter of children under its warm yellow sun, the shimmering fields of solar wheat. She had come too far, sacrificed too much to turn back now. She opened her eyes, her gaze firm, meeting the radiant, faceless presence of the Stardust Sir. I accept. Tell me what I must do first. Excellent. Elara of Solaria. Your resolve shines brightly. Your journey begins in the chamber of ethereal current. It lies beyond this central nexus, accessible through a portal of pure thought. You must attune your mind to the vibrational signature of cosmic flow. Observe, listen, and let the current guide you. Well. As the Stardust Sir communicated, a section of the crystalline wall to Elara's left began to shimmer and part, not physically, but as if dissolving into a swirling vortex of light. It pulsed with an inviting, yet mysterious energy, promising passage to another realm within this impossible space. Elara took a deep breath, steeling herself. This was it. The true test. The culmination of a journey that had spanned galaxies. She reached out, placing a hand on Lumi, finding comfort in the familiar presence of her companion. Lumi, she said, her voice filled with a quiet determination, we're going in. Lumi chirped back, a sound that Elara interpreted as both excitement and unwavering loyalty. Together, they stepped towards the shimmering portal, ready to face the ethereal currents that awaited them, ready to learn the cosmic song, and to hopefully finally bring healing back to a dying star. The light swallowed them whole, not with a jolt, but with a gentle, profound immersion into the unknown depths of the Stardust Sir. The light swallowed them whole, not with a jolt, but with a gentle, profound immersion into the unknown depths of the Stardust Sir. Elara felt herself unraveling, not painfully, but like a thread of pure consciousness being unspooled into an infinite tapestry. The sensation was unlike anything she had ever experienced, a dissolution of her physical form, yet an amplification of her awareness. She was no longer bound by her skin, her bones, her ship. She was a spark of thought, adrift in a sea of incandescent wonder. Around her, or rather, way through her, swirled colors that had no names in her known spectrum. They pulsed and flowed like liquid light, weaving intricate patterns that seemed to shift with every cosmic breath. Sounds, too, were not external but internal. A symphony of hums, whispers and resonant chords that reverberated deep within her nascent, formless self. It was the universe's own heartbeat, vast and intricate, yet surprisingly intimate. Lumi, too, had transformed. Her familiar bioluminescent glow, had become an integral part of this swirling cosmos. She wasn't just glowing, she was the glow, a beacon of pure, unwavering light that pulsed in perfect synchronicity with Elara's own dissolving essence. Her chirps, no longer simple sounds, were now intricate waves of pure energy, weaving through the Stardust like delicate ribbons of understanding, a constant, comforting presence amidst the overwhelming beauty. Lumi. Elara projected, not with her voice, but with a pure intent that shimmered through the currents. Lumi pulsed back, a wave of warmth and reassurance. Here. We are here. Gachenes. The Stardust was not empty space, but a living, breathing consciousness. Every particle of light, every ripple of energy, seemed imbued with ancient knowledge, with the echoes of creation and destruction, of stars being born and galaxies slowly turning. It was a library, a living dream, a song without end. But amidst this harmonious grandeur, Elara felt it. A discordant note. A faint tremor of sorrow that resonated like a bruised chord in a perfect symphony. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, hidden within the vastness, yet undeniably present. It was the dying star, its essence reaching out even here, a quiet plea amidst the universal song. Guided by Lumi's insistent pulses, which now seemed to stretch out like luminous tendrils, Elara began to navigate. She didn't move her body, for she had none. Instead, she willed herself to flow, to drift with the ethereal currents, seeking the source of that quiet ache. The currents themselves seemed to respond to her intent, parting for her, guiding her deeper into the luminous heart of the Sur. They traveled through nebulae of pure thought, past glittering constellations of forgotten memories, until they arrived at a place where the colors were muted, the hum subdued. Here, the vibrant tapestry of the Sur seemed to dim, like a tapestry frayed at the edges. And at its core, Elara saw it, not a physical star, but its resonant signature, a swirling vortex of fading light, flickering weakly, threatening to extinguish completely. It was a wound in the fabric of the Sur, a silence where there should be a vibrant melody. This was the cosmic song of the dying star, broken and fragmented. It's so quiet, Elara thought, her empathy aching. She felt the star's immense loneliness, its struggle to hold onto its light, its slow surrender to the void. Lumi pulsed frantically, her light trying to penetrate the dimness, as if to physically push back the encroaching silence. Her chirps grew more urgent, more complex, translating the star's fading lament into a language Elara could almost grasp. We must listen, Lumi projected. Listen to what was. Listen to what is missing. Win and Yaninas. Elara understood. The cosmic song wasn't just a sequence of notes. It was the very essence of the star, its history, its purpose, its connection to the universe. To heal it, they needed to reconstruct that song, to reweave its broken melody. She closed her eyes, or rather, focused her consciousness inward, opening herself completely to the muted echoes around her. She felt for the patterns, the rhythms that were still faintly present, like ghosts of a vibrant past. It was like trying to hear a symphony from a single, broken instrument. The Stardust sensing their purpose, seemed to respond. Gentle currents of energy began to flow towards them, carrying fragments of what the star's song should be. These weren't sounds, but pure, resonant frequencies, patterns of light and vibration that Lumi instantly absorbed. Lumi began to process them, her entire being becoming a living resonator. Her light pulsed in intricate, ever-changing patterns, translating the universal language of the Sur into something Elara could intuitively grasp. Each pulse was a note, each flicker a chord, each swell a melody. She was learning the song, piece by intricate piece, acting as Elara's interpreter and guide. Elara focused, her mind a blank slate, ready to receive. She began to sing with her consciousness, trying to replicate the resonant frequencies Lumi was projecting. It was an ethereal dance of intuition and precise resonance. She felt the joy of creation, the boundless energy of a young star, the steady hum of nuclear fusion, the intricate dance of its orbiting planets. She felt the deep connection it had to its celestial neighbors, the way its light nurtured life, the quiet pride in its ancient purpose. But the song was immense, stretching across eons. There were moments of doubt, moments when the sheer complexity of it threatened to overwhelm her. How could one human consciousness, even amplified by Lumi, grasp something so fundamental to the cosmos? The despair of the dying star, too, was infectious, a cold, heavy blanket that tried to smother her efforts. A current of fear rippled through her. What if I fail? What if it's too late? Lumi sensed her falter. With a burst of pure, unwavering light, she nuzzled against Elara's dissolving form, a silent reassurance. We are together. We are one. We can do this. That simple, profound connection was all Elara needed. She took a deep, conscious breath, pushing away the doubt. She wouldn't fail. Not with Lumi by her side, not with the universe itself guiding them. She delved deeper, allowing the Stardust Sir to flow through her, to teach her. She began to understand that the song wasn't just about the star itself, but about its relationship to everything else. The gravitational pull of distant galaxies, the faint whispers of dark matter, the very fabric of space-time that held it all together. It was a song of interconnectedness, of harmony, of the delicate balance that sustained existence. Slowly, painstakingly, they began to reconstruct it. Lumi's light became a weaving loom, taking the threads of cosmic resonance and shaping them into coherent patterns. Elara, with her heightened empathy and focused intent, became the conductor, guiding the flow, ensuring each frequency, each emotional resonance, was in its rightful place. They poured their combined essence into the task. Elara felt the strain, a profound mental and emotional exhaustion, but also a growing exhilaration. As they wove the missing parts of the song, the muted vortex of the star's essence began to respond. Faint colors flickered, then brightened. The discordant notes began to resolve. The silence slowly receding, replaced by a nascent, hopeful hum. They weren't just singing Ain't I the Star, they were singing with it, coaxing its own inner melody back to life. It was a profound act of cosmic CPR, breathing life back into a dying heart. Finally, with a surge of combined energy, they projected the complete rewoven cosmic song towards the star's essence. It wasn't just a sound, it was a wave of pure, harmonious energy, a projection of love and healing intent that resonated with the very core of the Stardust Sir. The muted vortex exploded into a brilliant, vibrant light. Colors, rich and deep, burst forth, swirling and dancing. The quiet hum transformed into a triumphant, soaring melody that echoed through the Stardust Sir, a testament to renewal and resilience. Elara felt a wave of profound gratitude wash over them, not from the star itself in words, but as an ancient joyous embrace that filled her with boundless peace. The Stardust Sir pulsed in acknowledgement, its own light amplifying the star's renewed song. The ethereal currents around them shifted, no longer guiding them in a quest, but gently coaxing them back. The vastness of the Sir began to condense around them, the infinite tapestry slowly reweaving itself into a familiar form. The portal reappeared, not as an opening they needed to seek, but as an iridescent shimmer that coalesced directly around them, gently drawing them back. Elara felt the sensation of being respun, reformed, her consciousness slowly returning to her physical body. The vibrant, overwhelming colors and sounds of the Sir slowly faded, replaced by the familiar hum of the Stardust Seraph. They emerged back into the ship's control room, collapsing into the pilot's chair and onto the console, respectively. The transition was jarring, a sudden return to gravity, to solid form, to the confines of a metal shell. Elara blinked, her eyes adjusting, her mind reeling from the cosmic journey. Lumi chirped, her light flickering wildly with an uncontrolled joy, before settling into a steady, bright pulse. Elara looked up at the main view screen. The dying star. It was still dim, its light still struggling, but something had fundamentally changed. A faint new glow pulsed from its core, a delicate, almost imperceptible warmth that hadn't been there before. It was like a spark, rekindled from within, promising a slow, steady return to vibrancy. The healing wasn't instantaneous. It was a process, a seed planted in the heart of the star, nurtured by the cosmic song. Elara felt an immense exhaustion settle over her, bone deep and profound, yet it was accompanied by an even greater sense of peace and fulfillment. She had touched the heart of the cosmos, communicated with a dying star, and helped to mend a wound in the universe. Her connection to the cosmos felt deeper, richer, a silent hum now resonating within her own being. She had seen the universe as a living, interconnected symphony, and she had played her small, yet vital, part in restoring its harmony. Lumi bounced on the console, chirping excitedly, her bioluminescence flaring with unrestrained happiness. She nudged Elara's hand, then settled onto her shoulder, her light a comforting warmth. "We did it, Lumi," Elara whispered, her voice hoarse but filled with awe. "We truly did it." The long journey home was spent in quiet contemplation, watching the distant star slowly, steadily regain its brilliance. Each day, its light grew a little stronger, its colors a little richer, a testament to the power of a cosmic song, and the courage of a girl and her glowing companion. Elara learned that night, that the universe was not just vast and cold, but alive, interconnected, and capable of both profound sorrow and incredible renewal. And sometimes all it took was a little bit of wonder, a lot of determination, and a quiet empathetic heart to help it sing again. As the Stardust seraph finally turned towards their home galaxy, leaving the mending star behind to bloom anew, Elara knew she would never forget the feeling of being unspun into the Stardust Sir. And as Lumi curled up on her lap, her light a soft comforting beacon in the dim cockpit, Elara drifted off to sleep, dreaming of swirling light, cosmic melodies, and the gentle profound hum of a universe made whole again. The universe was singing, and she was forever a part of its beautiful, endless song.